According to the CDC Youth Risk Survey compiled by the Division of Violence Prevention, in 2002, 9% of the total students surveyed in Houston between 9th and 12th grade have reports of being physically hurt within 12 months of being in the relationship. African Americans have the highest rate of teen dating violence than any other racial group. Now that you have some facts, it's time to get real with Real Talk.
Hi, Ms. Frida Villalobos. It's a pleasure to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
So after hearing all the statistics about teens being in abusive relationships and staying in the relationships and not knowing how to get out, what are some warning signs that teens should look for if they believe that they are in an abusive relationship?
A couple of questions, some very simple questions. How does this relationship make me feel? Does it make me feel scared? Does it make me feel uncomfortable? Those two things could tell you quite a bit. Is this person overprotective over you? Is this person jealous and always asking you where you are, where you're coming home, why didn't you call me? Or sending text messages, sending emails, or leaving messages like now social media, Facebook, Twitter, MySpace, or different things like that. Does this person control how you dress? Does this person control where you go, or what to do, or what friends you can hang out with? Or do they tell you, I want to hang out with you tonight, you don't hang out with your friends? Does it make you feel guilty when you hang out with your friends and not hang out with him? So different things like that. Does he grab you? Does he tell you, you know what, do not wear that, I don't want you to wear that? Those things, those simple things can tell you that you may be in an unhealthy relationship.
It's funny because I have a friend who's in a relationship like that, and we've talked about her and her boyfriend several times, and she always complains, but she never does anything about her situation, so I really don't know what to tell her anymore. So do you have any advice on what I should say to her?
Basically, just try to be very understanding, and it's hard for us to understand if we're not in that situation. So try to put yourself in her situation. Never ever blame her for anything that's going on. That's very important, because it took a lot for her to come out and actually share that with you, because she may not have anyone. A lot of victims, if they are in an abusive relationship, they're embarrassed to come out and say, you know what, this is what's going on. So if she came out and tells you this, be very understanding. Tell her, you know what, you just need to be careful. If he's doing this, this, and this, that may not be the healthiest relationship. What is he doing to you? Just try to talk to her, try to understand, and be very open, but never ever blame her. Always just listen, and if you don't know what to say, and if you're afraid that you're going to say the wrong thing, don't say anything at all. You can ask for numbers, you can just tell her, hey, you know what, there's a number that you can call, there's a website where you can go, but always just if you don't know what to say, just listen, because at that point in time, they may just want someone to listen, not necessarily critique her for what's going on, and don't tell her what to do. It's very important for her to be the one that's taking the decision, because at that point, when someone is in an abusive relationship, they lose a lot of the control. So it's important for her to gain that control and have the power and have the willingness to leave that relationship.
Okay, so you work at the Houston Women's Center, right? What can the Houston Women's Center offer teenagers who are in abusive relationships?
One very simple thing is just the phone number. We have a 24-hour hotline that is open 24/7 for anyone that may be in a violent relationship or an abusive relationship, and you can call it at any time. If it's 2 in the morning and you have no one else to talk to, and sometimes for someone that is in an abusive relationship, it's hard to talk to a family member or a friend because of the reasons I mentioned before, because they may be embarrassed or they're just may be scared, they don't know what to say. So talking to a stranger can be helpful. So picking up the phone, we have a 24-hour hotline, we have individual counseling, we have support groups meaning teens that are in a group and they are in a relationship like that, in an abusive relationship, so they're there learning how to deal with the relationship, safety planning. There is also a shelter also available for teens, women, and children, that if for some reason a lot of teens right now, they grow up so quickly and they maybe already living with a boyfriend or girlfriend. So if they feel like they're unsafe, we do have a shelter that is open, and keep in mind all of our services are completely free. So there's different things that you can that we can offer at the Women's Center completely free to teens that are in a violent relationship.
Okay, so I believe there's going to be a lot of teens watching this show. So what advice would you give to any teen across the globe who is watching this, who is in an abusive relationship and they don't know how to get out? What advice would you give them?
Just look for help. No one deserves to be in a relationship like that. And keep in mind, a lot of abusive relationships start with just the verbal abuse, start with just the psychological abuse, but they progress to violent situations, and it can end someone's life. And you've seen the news, you see what happens, and someone can die. There's such things as murder suicides, where the boyfriend killed the girlfriend and they killed himself. So find help. There is help. Talk about it. It is not your fault. It is not your fault that you're in a relationship like that. There's many reasons why people stay in a relationship. So don't feel like in any way you're deserving of someone treating you this way. And it's definitely not your fault. It's definitely the abuser having the responsibility for what they're doing.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing the information with us. Hopefully some teen out there who might be in this situation can take your advice and will call the Women's Center or talk to someone about your situation, because you need to get out if you are in an abusive relationship.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
You may call the National Teen Dating Abuse Helpline at 1-866-331-9474. You may also go to the Love is Respect website at www.loveisrespect.org. There you will find online help, live chat, and other resources. You may also call the Houston Area Women's Center Domestic Violence Hotline at 713-528-2121 or the Sexual Assault Hotline at 713-528-7273.
Also check die Mund-zu-Mund-Konto und zum Mund-zu-Mund-Konto. Direct Rap Shares, zwei Kompanieros im Kampf gegen das System. Sorry, dass ich von guten Lyrics mehr erwarte, als dass ich reimt.